Something I did a very long time ago on this channel, you might remember it, was a gameplay as the Ottoman Empire. It was, well, it wasn't a gameplay, it was a how to play Age of History 2 tutorial, essentially. And I fought the Byzantine Empire, and I took the largest L of my life. It was a complete disgrace to my country. I got utterly destroyed by the Byzantine Empire, and quite frankly, guys, it never changed from that point. Like, this was the largest L of my career right here. Today, we're doing another how to play tutorial. I think it's like my second one I've ever done. I might be wrong, I don't remember. But we're going to be doing it as Norway today, and I'm going to try to rewrite the wrongs of the past. We're going to try to teach people how to play this game a little bit better. I think I'm a little bit better at the game. Maybe I'm not. I don't really know. It's up to you guys in the comments, but I'm going to try to teach people how to play this game. Basically, when you start your game, you always start out with troops in your capital. You start out with relations with different countries, depending on what scenario you're playing, I suppose. And obviously, you start out with population. And how to access that is just by clicking the diplomacy tab. This is kind of your main tab to kind of understand what your country is all about. You have your population and you have your economy and your tech level. This is basically the most important stuff. And then you also have happiness. But you know, who needs happiness? We're not trying to make our people happy. Up here in the corner, you'll have two different pop-ups that start up when you start the game. Open your budget and technology points. Starting out, you want to open your budget. You want to tax the fuck out of your people. Quite frankly, boys, we barely need happiness. We could like let the happiness drop if we wanted to, but I think we're going to play it safe and, you know, make sure that they're still kind of happy, you know? We don't want them to fucking revolt against us, but this is basically what I usually do, is I just raise the taxes as much as possible. After that, you're going to see I'm making a lot of money. We're making big bank. And quite frankly, when you're making this kind of bank, there's only one thing to do. Invest in that economy. You know, quite frankly, guys, economy, population growth, this is the meta of the game. This is really all we need to succeed in life in this game. As you can see, we have some stability issues. That was the little pop-up that came up on my screen. I guess I can click the button again to show you. This is very important. It means you have low stability, and that means you are at risk of having a civil war in your country. You're going to want to, you know, pay them off, essentially. You're paying off the rebels to stay loyal to your country. Loyal to a fault. And quite frankly, guys, that's kind of the meta of the game. After that, you're going to want to hit the technology point button that I showed you earlier. This gives you many options to flex your technology to the world. Now, personally, there are different strategies and ways about going about this in the game. You can do research if you really want a very powerful research-based country, which, I mean, that's completely fine. If you're playing on a world where colonization is possible, you might want to invest in colonization. Personally, I find this one very useless, because once you colonize everything, they are just wasted points. You've wasted your points into nothing, essentially, because there's nothing else to colonize. So I usually steer away from this one. As for military upkeep, this is a decent one to get late game. I wouldn't really recommend you get it early game, but it is something you can get late game. We have administration, which this one is basically kind of to help administer your provinces, make sure that they have a lower chance to rebel, while also I think it generates just more stability overall. I know a lot of people ask how to get rid of disease in this game. You cannot do that, but administration is probably your best bet if you're trying to get rid of disease, because this will basically remove any stability issues you come up with from disease. If that's a big issue for you, personally, I never find it an issue. Stability is a really easy thing to manage in this game. Next up, we have income production. This is decent also for late game. I don't really find it very important right off the bat, but it does assist in just overall getting you more economic score as well as just gold in general. So I do find it a little bit good because it will help your provinces develop a lot quicker, but you can also invest in your provinces. So it's kind of a catch, catch-all. We don't really know if it's super important. I guess you can use it though. Insulting a lot of these, but you can play as any of these you want. It's really up to you. Now here we go to the golden three, I call them. The golden three are what I like to play the most: population growth, economy growth, and income taxation. For this game, I'm thinking we're gonna just go with income taxation at maybe a 10. And then we'll put the rest into economy growth. Personally, economy is the most broken part about the game because it will give you a lot really quickly in terms of the ranking. As well as just gold in general. The economy is huge for just generating more money. So I would say economy is the meta of the game, essentially. But then again, if you don't have any population, the economy is worthless because you can be taken over pretty easily. But if you have a decent population, you're basically set to just focus on economy. Now, obviously, we have a couple neighbors. Not really that many, though. So, I think we'll improve our relations with Sweden. Try to get a federation formed with them. That would be pretty nice, and we can slowly just grind our country up and become pretty wealthy, I would assume. I suppose I can show you guys some other small things. To move, obviously there's a move button. Do I really need to explain that? I don't really think so. There's the recruit button, which will get you more troops. Pretty self-explanatory, but it will decrease your population. So please, if you're going to use the recruit button, I would recommend like designating certain areas for your population to be used for military purposes. I don't really like to drain the population of my capital. It's just something I don't really like to do in the game. Granted, there's nothing wrong against doing that. It's just like a pet peeve I have when I see people drain their capital of population. We have the More tab, which will allow you to build different things. Personally, I like to build the farms, the workshops. These are kind of your standard things that you need. The port is also a good thing to have in your city. I recommend building ports on just every single ocean tile if you have the time to do it. Fortresses are pretty useful actually in terms of like defending your border. On this exact gameplay, I really don't care, so I'm not really being very defensive. But normally, you'd want to at least try to defend your border a little bit to avoid like getting taken over. I just really don't care. Some other things you can do when you're in the diplomacy tab is you can move your capital. So let's say you don't like Oslo, you could move it to Stavanger, a very amazing city, I suppose. And you could just move your capital for a small fee of $23,000. You can change your government type if you're not really the monarch type. Maybe you can try something a little bit, radical, perhaps. Possibly. You can take out a loan if you're very desperate. Personally, I do this quite a bit. If well, I don't really do it as much as I used to, but back in the day when I was learning the game, loans were just a really easy way to get money and not lose your country. So if you're new to the game, you fuck up, loans are your best friend. I just take out all the loans you can get and set that duration up to 30 turns and you're set. I guess I should show you guys how to actually invest in your provinces. This will improve your economic score and your development. To do that, basically what you do is you invest in your province, you give it a lot of money, or you can invest in the actual development level of your city. And personally, I find this one pretty good, but I do like to mainly invest in the city. Some other things you can do when clicking an enemy country: obviously declare war, send an ultimatum, which is very broken in this game. If you have a very large military, almost any country will accept your ultimatum, it feels like, for just the vassalization. It's like one of the most broken things in this game. That's like the speedrun strategy for Age of History, is just send lots of ultimatums. Obviously, if you're new to this game, you might know of a little secret in the game. It's called the Declare War button. You know, it might be a little bit broken, I'm not gonna lie. You know, people will say, you know, why is this such an easy thing to abuse? But the Declare War button is just kind of a little bit based, I'll say. You give them 1 gold, let's say we want Sweden to go to war with Denmark, perhaps. And you know, a little bit of trollage will commence, quite frankly. For one gold, you know. The trollage is there, guys. The trollage possibilities are there for you to use at your splendor. Obviously, you can support rebels if you're thinking, you know, Finland might be a cool country to have buddies with. You know, you can fund a revolution in Sweden, and quite frankly, it's pretty based. It doesn't really work, though, very often. I try to fund rebels, and it seems like they never win. The rebels always get put down, but sometimes, if you're lucky, you might have a successful revolution. You can also form a federation with a country if they accept. Obviously, Sweden, very, very evil. They will not accept our federation. So that's kind of the main stuff, how to play this game. I hope I taught you guys a little bit better this time. My other video was not very good when I tried to teach you guys how to play this game. Hopefully this one is a little bit more detailed, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.